Good morning. This is Dina Marie, host of Faith Moments and the voice of the shepherd, with a special rosary moment on Mater Dei Radio. Saturday, October 1st marks the 16th annual Rosary Bowl Northwest in the Archdiocese of Portland. The event promotes praying the family rosary daily and encourages a deeper devotion to Mary, the Mother of God. Several local apostolates attend the event each year to share their common mission of prayer and enhancing a vibrant Catholic life. From the very first year in 2007, the Rosary Center has been a partner with the annual Rosary Bowl event. With me to talk about his role as director of the Rosary Center and promoter of the Rosary Confraternity for the Western Dominican province is Dominican priest Father Dismas Sayre. Good morning, Father Dismas. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Well, I want to hear a little bit before we talk about the Rosary Center and the Rosary Bowl, just a little bit about your road to the Dominicans and to the priesthood. What were some of the significant things that led you into the Dominican community?
Well, I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I joined the Navy right out of high school. So then I did my time and was looking for a college to settle in, and I happened to settle at the University of Utah. They offered me the best package and scholarships and funding. So I said, okay, I'll go to Utah. I'd never seen the mountains before, so I thought, why not go someplace different? So I went there different, and interestingly enough, my mom said, well, I don't want you to fall in with the Mormons. Make sure you go to church. So I went to the Newman Center there at the University of Utah, staffed by our Dominican friars, and that's where I met our Dominican friars. After some period, I discerned that I wanted to, eventually join the priesthood. And it was funny. When I told my mom, she was like, "Well, I wanted you to get in the church, but not quite that much." So although she's so super supportive of me. But so I saw the Dominicans there, and I was discerning various things, and then I went to one of their come and see weekends at St. Albert's, our mother house, and our student aid in Oakland, California. And I said, "Oh, this is it." And I fell in love with the Dominican life, and I entered in August 2000. So it's been 22 years basically. 21 years under vows and let's see, I think it's, yeah, 14 years of priesthood.
Wow. Well, you had your birth mother and the Blessed Mother, I think, working for you to bring you into your vocation. What a gift.
Definitely, definitely. It was a lot of people praying for me at that time, so I feel very, very blessed.
Yeah. And I think it just encourages our parents who have students in colleges and universities with Newman centers. Many of them are staffed, at least here locally in Oregon, I know, by the Dominicans. So it's nice to know these beautiful communities are working with our young people, helping them in a really fragile time. Just maybe a message to those young adults who are in college to stay connected with their faith.
It is, it's interesting, at least when we were growing up, was saying, well, college is the time to explore yourself and be yourself and all that. But nowadays, I think it's almost the opposite. There's a great pressure really, really to conform to the secular society. It's no longer about, okay, you belong to your group, I belong to my group, and we all get along kind of thing. No, the people are sometimes very openly hostile to the faith in secular universities. Sometimes even some Catholic universities, people are very, antagonistic toward any public demonstration or proclamation of the faith. So it's really important that we find, good chapels and good Newman centers there to support the students, to let them know, hey, we're here in this fight for you. You know who you are, you know who you belong to. Now let's do what we need to do, and answer and give witness in a way, that's charitable and truthful.
Right.
Always presenting the truth and charity to those who ask our reason for hope, as the apostle says.
Hmm. Father Dismas is with us, and he'll be representing the Rosary Center at Holy Rosary Parish. The Dominicans obviously are part of that beautiful community, and he'll be coming to share with us and to pray the Rosary. When you started to learn about the Dominicans, Father Dismas, as a college student, what struck you in terms of their prayer life, their charism that really drew you into this community?
It's interesting at the Newman Center itself, many times people don't see our interior community life, because it's our community life. If we have visitors all the time, then it kind of interrupts that. You can't have a, we call ourselves semi-monastic, so we can't really have a semi-monastic setting if we are having an open house all the time. So I didn't really see the interior life of the Dominicans until I went to their come and see weekend. And then, they invite me in, and there's a lot of students there as well. The community at the Newman Center at the time was fairly small. It was only two priests, so it was hard to see, the Dominican life lived as fully as it could be. But once you see everything, and then you see the young men there, the seminarians on fire for the preaching the word, and that's really what drew me in, was the preaching of the word, and how dedicated they are to that. We Dominicans are very much not as much founder centered, I would call it. We're not so much worried about, well, what would our founder think, what our founder think, and all that. We must follow in the footsteps of our founder. We follow in the footsteps of the founder, but our founder, Saint Dominic, said, hey, get out there and preach. Get out there and preach. And the Holy Father, Pope Francis, recently commended us. We just celebrated the 800th year of the death of Saint Dominic, of his birth into heaven. And he said, well, the Dominicans are known for, doctrinal solidity. They're known for being faithful to the Holy See, and they're known for propagating their love for the Mother of God, especially through the Rosary. So that was really what drew me into the Dominicans.
Right. And we see that OP, which stands for Order of Preachers. Give
Mhm.
us a sense, just in the beginning of this forming of the Dominicans with St. Dominic, and then many came to join him, the importance of preaching at that time in history in terms of sharing the truth against so much opposition and heresy.
I discuss a lot of this in our new newsletter that's coming out this week. But essentially, there was a rampant heresy that St. Dominic saw in his time. And he saw that the church in many places was kind of lax and kind of soft in many ways, living, the comfortable life, not really getting out and preaching, almost what we encounter today in our own times. People are just like, whatever, we going along and worrying about daily life. And even a lot of the priests were like that. So they didn't have the power of the witness behind their preaching of the word. They weren't able to counter the heresy. And the heresy is one that we still, in some parts or in some kind of form, encounter today. It was called Albigensianism, named for the region Albi, or sometimes the Cathars for pure. That's where the root for Greek pure, where we get the nice name Catherine from. But so basically, their heresy was saying, well, we have two gods. One is of the spirit and one is of matter. The matter is the evil part. So anything made of matter, created of matter, is evil or not good, at least, and must either be, we must release ourselves from it, or we must not propagate it. So you know families were discouraged from having more children. Suicide was tolerated, at least sometimes, if not encouraged, to free us from the bonds of our bodies. And Saint Dominic encountered that, and of course, in doing that, you deny really the true Jesus, who came to us as man with flesh, that we can see and touch. It denies really the beautiful prologue of the Gospel of Saint John, where he talks about, everything, the God we've seen, the God we touch, everything that, that we say about the word and who lived among us. John is very insistent, we saw him, we lived with him, we touched him, we heard him, we did all these things with him. And then that, of course, relates to the sacraments. There can't be material sacraments. There can't be bread, there can't be, wine, there can't be oil. None of these things would have any effect or power. Of course, we know it's the grace behind them that gives us the power, that makes the bread into the body of Christ. And for them, that would be horrific. You can't have the body. That would be, that would be a double heresy for the heretics at his time. So he fought them, and always, with encouraging them, with charitable, discussion. In one famous story, he came upon an innkeeper who was a member of this sect, and he says that he spent the whole night with him, discussing the faith and treating him, pleading with him, and eventually, helped to convert the innkeeper. The most famous statement we have about our founder is that it was said about him that he always was speaking to God or about God. So he was very focused on that mission. It was for him, it was never about him. He's at one point there were a few friars, he was building all these priories and the friars gathered together, but it seemed like every time we got enough members, he would like say, okay, time to go. You go here, you go there. Oh, we have these Polish, new Polish ones. We'll send Hyacinth back out to Poland and set up houses there and in Eastern Europe. So his thing was, we can't let the grain rot. And we can't just let it sit in one place. The grain has to be scattered. The seed has to be scattered in order for for the crop, for the harvest to be really fully realized. So for us, that's always the thing. We're always going out. We're not, in a sense, we're not vagabonds, but we are travelers. We go, okay, where do we need to go to preach? And that's where we fill in.
Right. Father Dismas Sayre with us, Dominican priest, and now he is the director of the Rosary Center, which is right across the street from Holy Rosary Parish. And Father Dismas, I want to talk a little bit about that Rosary Center, what it's doing today. And obviously, we're so excited about always having the Rosary Center part of the annual Rosary Bowl event. This year, the event falls on the first Saturday of October, October 1, which is the feast of St. Therese of Lisieux. I am coming up to a break, though, so would you please hold on with me and we'll continue our
Sure, of course.
conversation in a few minutes. Great.